Welcome to On the Floor with Zoe Ahmed.
Hey, everybody, welcome to On the Floor. Oh my God. I can't believe this is episode number 8, and I am super excited to be chilling with one of my closest friends, the person that I admire their journey, their experiences, and their loving and caring attitude is beyond attitude, their aura, their energy. Um, his name is Brennan. He's an actor, a model from Boston, Massachusetts.
Woo! Boston in the house. Massachusetts in the house.
Yes, what's up?
What's up with you? Not too much. Thank you so much for having me on today. I'm so excited to chat about so many different topics and see your beautiful face. I actually haven't seen you in a while. It's been like
I last saw you last,
months.
yes, I last saw you
Wow.
in November.
I
Yes,
really think that time has a weird thing where
yeah,
it just picks up and like flies, and you don't even know where it went, where it goes.
right. Interesting.
Um,
Yeah, but it's so fun because with social media, it feels like we are always connected on a daily basis.
yeah, that's true.
So that's the good thing about social media.
That's
And
awesome. I love it. Yeah,
yay! So thank you so much for joining me today. So
absolutely.
today we discussing and fascinating. I'm just so excited that you're here. So that today we're going to be talking a little bit more around a different type of conversation, but beyond conversation, things that we experiences on a daily basis, either on our love life or in our wellness, things that we journey, but beyond journeying, things that we learn to embrace, and those things they become our identity, or they become our persona. So, if I'm just so fascinated, if you want to share a little bit about yourself and the work that you do. I do know because we are close. I do know the work that you do, but for the people that are listening to get a little sense of you, and yeah, let's be about it, babes. Let's be about it.
So, Brennan, I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I'm an actor, a model. I'm also a writer as well, and a creative enthusiast. I have been acting since the age of 12-ish. Like when I was younger, I began, I would say, just taking like small classes, and like I kind of grew more. I had a vision for a career to be an actor. And modeling, it was really strange because it kind of came on to me more recently, actually. I had a lot of people telling me just because of my height and like my looks, and like not just because of outside influence, but definitely like I really like the art of expression and how people, designers can come together and design such beautiful fabrics and different types of clothing. And I really am honored to model some um, of the designers' clothing. And I think that it expresses a lot of their
Hmm.
culture in different aspects of their life. And I just think that it's amazing. So it's kind of like that's definitely a recent career that I um, took under my wing, and I'm flying with, and I'm growing with.
Yes, honey,
Um,
fly and flourish.
Fly, I know. But yeah, other than that, like I've just really been. I'm also, I will say I'm into wellness as well as holistic health, and I'm also into skincare. I've always been into like embracing your inner beauty and inner glow from within out. Um, and I'm very spiritual as well. So I
Hmm.
I used to do Instagram Reels when I was in high school. I haven't really got back to it yet. I actually, and I can ask you more about this after the podcast, but I have lots of ideas to start up eventually my own podcast and start growing with my own, episodes, topics. Because again, this is why I'm so excited to be on this, because we can both learn and grow from each other, but I can also like, you know, express a little bit, of myself to the audience and you, and get a feel to be on a podcast in general. I think it's so fascinating because I've been literally thinking of beginning a podcast because I feel like there's so much thoughts up here. There's so much words and there's so
Yeah.
much my mind is not here ever, which it can be bad. It can be bad. It can backfire sometimes, but
Yeah.
I embrace it. You have to embrace yourself for who you are. You know
Mm,
what I mean? So,
mm.
but yeah, that's a little bit about me. And I'm so happy to be on today's podcast and really dive into these topics. I actually think you guys will learn more about myself and you through what we talk about, like the topics that we start to uncover. I feel like the audience is going to get to learn about more of the both of us through that too. So I think that could explain it through.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow. The reason why, because when I started the podcast, the intention was for me to heal, right? To heal from a space of trauma from the previous experiences and journeying. And for so many years, I've been carrying trauma that is unresolved, trauma that is dealt with, things that I've been packaging. And, they call me, we say, carry, pass and go, like carry and go. I've been just packaging this trauma, packaging this anger, packaging this conservativity, where sometimes I find myself it's so hard to be vulnerable because I am not in tune with how I feel. So when I started the journey, for me, it became an instrument to heal myself from the previous relationships, from the previous experiences. But then as I journey with the podcast, I noticed that I am not alone. And part of that is when I engage with different folks, their experiences are similar to mine. I'm like, oh my God, I've been carrying these things, but someone is suffering. I could use my voice to become a tool or an instrument of information. But beyond information, the crucial step that I became so proud of was and is taking therapy and seeing a therapist to discuss around wellness, around how does healing look like. And today is one of the things that I brought you on the show for us to discuss. And the reason specifically we are not I was so fascinated for you to be on the show because you like sharing a lot about spirituality and inner glow and mindfulness and wellness, which is the things that I am all about, mindfulness and wellness. So I want us to dive into today's topic, which is longevity of a healed mind, soul, and body. And when I look at this context, how can we be able to have a more sustainable, healed mind, body, and soul?
First off, I want to say that I just think your creativity shows through the way that you talk, and it shows through your whole vibration, just like talking and expressing. And, thank you for sharing that information because it gives a lot of people insight on yourself. And doing a podcast, helping yourself in that way is so beautiful. And like, appreciate yourself, love yourself. And I love that. I love that journey, the journey that you're on and the story that you just said. That's awesome. Um, but yeah, I feel like, what are you gonna say?
No, I'll say thanks,
Oh,
babes.
I was,
Yes.
I was gonna say with wellness, I feel like wellness is such a topic that isn't really like I feel like people have different definitions of wellness and what wellness is and like different
Yes.
perspectives about it. And
Yes.
I think wellness can mean different things. 1000%. 1000%. But at the end of the day, it's you know, I feel like in this world, in this society, I really do think that um, you know, they talk about how the brain and the body are literally directly connected. Like it's kind of strange to me that for so long, you know, mental health was not talked about, not really like not in my parent, your parents, our ancestors' generations. And when we talk about ancestral trauma and how that's passed down onto us, you know, unresolved,
Yes.
like unresolved,
Yes. Come through.
just unresolved trauma from ancestors. It's very true. It's very real. And I think that we are living in a time where the stakes are so different because
Mhm.
you know we're not in the old age of, first of all, we'll get into that more, but I think you know it ties to consciousness, it ties to spirituality, it ties to everything. But on the wellness and all of that, like mental and physical are connected. Everything in your body is connected. We're electrical beings. Like you're electrical, I'm electrical. There's frequencies, vibrations that we emit on a daily basis and that we take on. We don't even know it sometimes because our eyes can't see it. So immediately, like people wouldn't think of it to be something that's affecting us because, you know, you walking around and me walking around don't see, you know, we can't, there's some things that we can't see, but that does not mean that they're not real. They're not true.
Yeah.
They're not. So sometimes wellness, you know, I believe that it's the things that we can't see, you
Mm.
know, in our body, in our mind, obviously. And
Yeah.
there's like causes to things that like we almost want to if whatever, if you broke something or hurt yourself in a way, I feel like getting to the root cause of the problem, the root
Yeah.
cause of the issue mentally, physically, is something that we should be doing more. But I feel like people
Mm.
don't go to the root source of what's the problem.
Mm.
Rather, it's kind of just like take pills and like, you know, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And that's not really helping it, you know. But
Right.
add on to you. I was gonna say, I'd love you to add on to what I was saying because
Absolutely. So earlier on when I was, coming up, so I structured the podcast on the names and the title. And remember, I'm on a healing journey, so everything that I do is connected one way or the other. And I was looking and around the definition. Oh, my English is running away. Whoa. It's like, oh my God, girl, you go home. You English. But that's,
stop. You're so cute. No, you're doing so, honey. Listen, you're
but
amazing. I can't. You're so funny. I
right.
can't.
I'm like, oh my God. Now it shows that I'm from Africa. But anyways.
Woo! Accent in the house. I love that.
Yes. So I was doing a research around the definition for longevity. And I know the meaning in my own way, but I wanted to understand more in the dictionary level so that we can dive deep into psychology. It says longevity of a healed mind, soul, and body can vary depending for each person, of which you've touched base on that. It depends on factors like the overall health, lifestyle, and personal circumstances that may be contributed to certain practices, geographical location, geographical environment, as well as self care. So, which is why yesterday I was in a conversation with this man in the restaurant. We were talking around different contexts on how they play a certain role in contributing to one's health. um, I believe what you exposed to, it becomes your way of doing things, right? For example, I gave an example. when first I moved to the United States, people, United States on television, Hollywood has this image of the country where it's so beautiful, everything is rosy, it's a dreamy land. At the same time, United States is a land where so many people are are struggling mentally. They have so much anxiety. Either they have so many bills to pay. However, these are similar situations that are happening back home, for example. But then here it's more highlighted when you get on the ground. Back home, people they package their feeding and go because people they package and issues around mental health, they are starting to be discussed now. For example, if back home when you say you have mental issues, they thought maybe you are spiritually attacked, right? So it's something that is not seen as common to say that you have depression. They'll tell you what is depression. You have demons, things like that. So the environment where you grow up in, you end up packaging pain and running with pain for so many years instead of stepping out and speaking out, which is, I spoke around the geographical context on how comes into play when it comes to issues around wellness and either lifestyle choices or preferences that are happening on a daily basis. So you spoke, I'm so fascinated. You spoke around frequency and vibration on how that affects the, the ways someone make a sound decision or make a sound choices when it comes to wellness or having a longevity around wellness and a healed body and mind. Can you please explain a little bit more around frequency and vibration? How does that interlink and how does that contribute to a healed body and mind?
Yeah, so I actually want to say really fast about your story back home. I think that there's so much I feel like there's so much truth to like every type of like culture. So when you just said to me like how back home like obviously there's religion at play like because I know that where you're from it's very right. I'm guessing religious for certain.
Yeah.
Okay. So I really think and I think that um, every culture almost has like a piece of the puzzle. So it's not even to say that that's not true with what those they were saying, but they weren't going about it possibly in the way that they should have. Um, to say like, okay, like, all right, let's you said hypothetically demons, right? I 100% believe in all of that. What I was going to say in spiritual attacks, what I was going to say was, okay, but how do we step up, raise awareness for it, and help people and not deny them and say they're crazy and that's the only reason for it? I mean, I think that that actually goes into vibrations and frequencies. Through life, the human experience, we experience a tug of war constantly between evil and good and frequencies, and it's all connected. I think the fact is that like, you know, I do think that it can be a spiritual attack. Maybe not all the time, but I think it can be. But we have to recognize, okay, the symptom is depression,
Mm,
anxiety,
mm,
but that's a real thing. Is that we deal with because that changing in frequencies through the earth and through this life, like we just have to recognize, okay, like it's life's hard and we have to grab hands and hold hands and help each other. We're all in this together. We have to help each other get through it, whatever it
mm,
is. Because I do think that there's times where, you know, it can relate to demons personally. Not all the time, but
yeah.
I think that because demons thrive on low energy. They thrive down here in the vibration plane. You know what I mean? Higher vibration, your higher self because like then we'll go to like the higher self and the ego, which is also connected to like, you know, demons, and demons go to the ego. Like we're born with jealousy, doubt, fear, blah 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 blah.
Mm.
That's where they try to lure us into like way darker, deeper states than we should even be in. Like,
Yeah.
why am I sad about this? Why am I
Mm.
stressing about this breakup, this specific event? Why? There's no reason to be, but there's you know what I mean? Like that's the goal. That's the goal of that type of energy, is to drag you to that state. And it's hard.
Wow.
It's hard to fight through that, but and depression and anxiety and mental health are the symptoms of that. So I feel as though
Interesting.
in America here, we want to talk about the baseline stuff. And you guys jump right into all of that, but you guys might not connect the realization of, okay, mental illnesses are affecting everybody. And the source of that could be that. But there is, in fact, truth to mental health existing, and if you wanted to get more detailed with it on a spiritual level, you could say spiritual attacks, potential demons, potential just low vibrations through the earth, through what the people running the world, they have a different agenda. They can be put in frequencies and stuff. We're already dealing with food that's contaminated. We're dealing with medication, like pharmaceutical stuff, and that's a whole other thing. But like there are frequencies literally everywhere around us, and there's so much different goals at play. You have people up here, you know, that have different agendas than me and you. You know what I mean? Like the beautiful earth that we're literally destroying, and that, you know, all of our cures to everything come
Yeah.
from the beautiful God-given earth. All of them.
Right. And it's so interesting how you speak around the demon in the mind. So because I'm a church girl, yeah, so I don't know.
I love
So
that.
yes,
I grew up Catholic.
and
I'm not Catholic, but I
yay.
grew up Catholic, but I right now am not. I'm actually I'm on a journey finding
Right.
my place with I wouldn't call myself a Christian, but I'm definitely you know, working with God and like finding my place and like but I'm not down to a religion, because I really believe that we're beings of consciousness, and we have to embrace our individual spiritual. Like my
Right.
relationship, I won't go to a place of worship to worship God. I'd rather go into my room and pray on my own and do my own shadow work, my own spiritual work, as one
Nice.
should do, because I feel as though religion was made at one point to divide people. Not all of it, not all the aspects.
Right.
I just
Right.
think that, yeah.
Yeah. So so I always like to say that the devil is the mind. So the devil attacks the mind to
Yes.
win a soul, right?
Yes.
So if the devil comes and sits in your mind, the devil will tell you. That's why a human being, we've got two inner voice. There is the voice that will tell you you are not good enough, and this voice is so loud. And the other voice is like, oh, girl, you're not deserving. That voice will tell you you are not worth that opportunity. You don't apply for this job because you don't have qualification. And then there is this smaller voice that will say, you are worth, but it doesn't have impact. And what the devil does, the devil is louder, but the inner self comes in a very of calmness, in a form of peace. And most of the time, because we are intoxicated by the devil overpowering the inner positive voice that is in you, in that way the devil starts to accumulate your mind. And that's why so many people, they are struggling with self-worth and self-value, because for so many time they've been fed with negativity that started in their mind, And some of that negativity started from their environment or started from their mothers or their grandmothers, and then it transcended to another generation. So it's been a repeatance of mind issues, the mind telling them, mind overpowering them. And it's really fascinating me how much, a mind can destroy your entire trajectory or your entire future or the entire possibilities in yourself. My brother always say to me, because I use my mind to access spaces I've never been. I use my mind as a tool of creativity. My mind, that's where, for me to produce something, I need to first see it in my mind and say, if I'm going to this place, I'm going to say ABC. And I pray about it to say, God, guide my mind so that it can produce the voice that can stimulate someone else or that can create shift and impact. Because at the same time, a mind can be void and it produces nothing. So there's so much that a mind game that the devil plays to win a soul, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that connects all through frequencies, through it all, because the devil does send very low vibrational frequencies. So when you're taking on a spiritual attack in the moment, it's actually really hard to get through. And again, anxiety, depression come with that. And I feel as though, that's just, in my opinion, I think that that can be a source of depression. Not all the time. I feel as though lots of the times it could be, those voices that are distracting us from our actual potential, our actual worth. We're already dealing with just the world that we live in and, all of that type of stuff going on. So it's like, this life it is crazy. It's a difficult obstacle, but you know what? We have to find it in ourselves to access different types of consciousness, to raise our vibration, to, literally speak stuff into existence, because God will show us where we're supposed to be, what we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to get there. And like you said, praying about it's wonderful, writing it down, self-worth, journaling, manifesting that stuff into a reality for yourself. And it's a lot. It can be a lot. And that connects to the whole point of wellness and longevity. Because I always say that being a sheep, being asleep to being asleep to the world, being asleep, an uneducated mind is actually a danger to society. Excuse me, a danger to society. I know that's a huge claim and a huge statement, but it actually is true, because if you are not awakened, not woke is not the full word, awake is the full word. If you are not awake to the realities of yourself, the realities of the world, your society, the deception, not even just the devil playing in your mind, the devil playing free ball in the government, in the running the world, and people's agendas, friends, family. There's deception everywhere. You have to be really equipped with the mental capacity and knowledge to live a fulfilled, sustained life for yourself, spiritually, mentally. You really have to know what's going on. And that's why I'm glad that we're talking today, because I feel like people are going to get a lot of information, a lot of perspectives that they didn't really think before. Because I like to connect a lot of, of my religious, that I kind of grew up with. But how do I connect that to a spiritual sense, to where it's okay, we'll take that and we're going to take aspects of every type of spiritual perspective. And how does it all connect together? How does our consciousness How does everything go like this in a full circle? Because everything's connected, you know, that every religion has a puzzle of the piece. Every spirituality perspective has a puzzle. Nobody's wrong and nobody's right. But what we can agree on is there's a good versus evil battle in every spiritual perspective in the world.
Right.
There is.
Interesting.
That's my
Wow.
perspective. That's my perspective. That is a very, I know it's a lot, but I do think that to access parts of your mind for wellness, your brain is a very powerful. It's actually like literally one of the most powerful parts of your body. It's the brain.
Right. Right. Wow, interesting, Brennan. So, guys, this portion of video, this portion of podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a tailored, world's largest network of licensed therapies. You can access BetterHelp at any location at any given time. So, the opportunity is about BetterHelp. 4 million people have been reached and got helped. So, today you can change your story by reaching out to betterhelp.com and getting the help that you need and getting a healed mind on a healed body. So as we're still continuing the discussion with my dear friend Brennan, we sharing around longevity of mind, body, and soul, looking and exploring ways that we can get healed. However, you can get healed if you're seeking help, right? So there is no way. That's why we are here. We are not expertise, but we are people that have joined, we've walked the journey around healing and taking steps and measures in creating healthy boundaries for ourselves and in this journey. So try out BetterHelp and let me know. And you can reach out to Brennan on, what's your social media, honey?
My social media is actually my name, no space, Brennan Fromm on Instagram. I'm literally an advocate for everyone. I talk to every type of person walking in this life, and I love connecting, networking.
Yes.
So
we're we're all about that.
We are all about that. So
Yeah.
anyone watching this podcast, if you want more of a discussion on this topic, message either of us. If you want more words of wisdom on this as we discuss it more, we are here for everyone. We are voices for spreading awareness for mental health and also talking about, if we wanted to get more specific about it, like what my perspective about it was, but also like understanding that this journey is hard. There's a lot going on. There's a lot.
Right.
There's bigger forces at play that affect our longevity, affect our well-being. There's bigger forces at work for sure, and giving yourself the time and the space to understand your own self and all of that stuff, it's very important. So yeah, but I think you broke up. Hold on. Can you hear me? Oh, laptop died. So, basically what I wanted to continue to talk about, obviously, was longevity. I think that living a life of just peace and joy comes with hardship. I think that geography, like she had talked about in the beginning of the podcast, location, all of that plays huge factors in longevity. And I feel as though everybody's journey is going to be different in the long run. So,
yeah. So, yes, just to continue, you guys, and so we want to find, and coming up now is the opportunities for us to share ways that you can have a better mind and a better body. And through vibration or through frequencies, and some of the tools that you can put in place in making sure that you are healed and making sure that you are healthy. But these are things that you can practice on your own, or things that you can put in place as tools. So, Brandon, maybe if you want to share a little bit more around some of the tools that you've put in place in your journey in finding your healed body, mind, and soul. Some of the things, some of the practical tools that you have in place.
I feel like getting to know your body in general. Like, I feel as though getting to know what foods your body likes, what routines work for your body. I think that, inflammation is a sign in the body of, if inflammation can be anywhere in your body, right? So if there's
Mm.
inflammation, that is a sign from your body saying to you,
Right.
I don't like what you're doing. It could
Mm-hmm.
be a food. It could be a type of workout that like your
Mm.
body's not really familiar with. It could be as simple as a routine or something that you just don't really feel connected with. I
Yes.
would actually give the advice to reroute, sit down, replan, relook
Mm.
at things, like make sure the food that you're eating agrees with your body. Eat high vibrational foods, fruits, nuts, meat that's not obvious. You want to really get organic ground beef if you're going to do that, pasture raised eggs, you know wild caught fish, fresh caught. Well, believe it's called wild caught fish because it's like farm raised is not like as organic. There's different types of organic food. So I feel as though that's a big investment in somebody's life is to eat as clean as you can, eat as organic as you can.
Right. Oh my
Work.
God. When it comes to eating clean, I've been struggling, with good balanced diet, because sometimes I get consumed and I lose appetite. And for me, I've been struggling with that. The other days I have high appetite that I constantly eat. The other days I don't. So I'm like, oh my God, are you calling
And
me
it's okay. And no,
out?
what's funny is that I feel
Yeah.
like people that like cheat on food or whatever, I think that we just have to do our best. I feel like slipping up a few times, having McDonald's, having like fast food, having that type of stuff. We just have to. It's more like we have to be aware of what we're eating, aware of what's in the food. If we consciously make a choice, I'm going to eat this burger. I know what's in it. I know what might happen
Yeah.
physically to me, but I'm going to make the choice to eat it. That's good that you know what's in your food. So the whole point is to actually start being aware of what you are eating in general and limiting as much as you can to more clean eating, like organic food. Yes, you can eat meat and dairy, but you have to make sure like it's as organic as possible. If it's organic meat, it's not going to give you all of the problems that a McDonald's burger might give you. So
Right. Yeah, so I think that's very true. I think one of the other things that you can do, guys, is to stay active, and either you go to the gym,
definitely
which is very important, making sure that you have a set schedule, that you go to the gym either 3 times a week, take a walk, and nature walk are very good in stimulating your mind and just having that quietness in the nature, or just
nature's
walking
so important.
around yes, the
Grounding,
neighborhood.
grounding,
Yes,
grounding.
practice mindfulness, which is one of the things that I would like you to share a little bit more around mindfulness practices. Other things that you can do is to connect with others and maintaining stronger relationship with friends and families. Most of the
Beautiful.
times, we find ourselves in isolation, and in isolation is good and bad, right? Sometimes if you are in isolation for too long, your mind starts to question your existence, or you finding purpose. It's so hard because there is no source of inspiration. So try as much to stay connected to your loved ones, it is so good to take breaks if you're feeling overwhelmed. I think Brennan has touched on that. That if you're feeling tired, take break. If you're feeling exhausted, take a sleep.
Listen to your body. If your
Yes,
body is telling you
yes.
something, like if you're really tired, you can't physically do more, stop, take a breath, listen to your body more. Stop. I feel like people like to go online and get all these crazy, if you're gonna do a workout, you got all these crazy like workout ideas and like want to do all this stuff, and then they end up doing it and hurting themselves because you're like, you have to slow it down. You have to listen to your body. It's okay to, I would do a routine. I would have work different muscles on different days too. Quick little workout tip, because you want the blood to flow to that part of your body and show the gains. But like, I think that you really have to listen to your body overall and be mindful, and that connects to your mind. Like you said about, grounding and all that. But yeah, I think that it's
what are some
important.
What are some of the mindfulness activities that you do?
Deep breathing is one. I also sit there, close my eyes, and just not even close my eyes sometimes. I just sit. I pick 3 things from my surroundings: a color, a smell. I actually go through all the 5 senses, right? Because that's the beautiful.
Tell me more about 5 senses. I don't know anything. I'm like, yes.
So I think that, first of all, I think that we always use the same, like, okay, like I'm seeing something right now, right? So then, okay. But I feel as though sometimes we should use the other senses as well, like touch, feel, smell, taste, like the other ones, because we're always using the sight because we have to see, obviously. But I think that sometimes we have to sit down, close our eyes, get rid of this sense for a second,
right,
and use the other senses. Where am I? Touch the ground, feel the ground, the energy coming from the ground, the vibration from the earth. Feel that, take that in, because that's healing. Anything from the ground is healing, by the way, because the earth is actually healing at all times. So like when we wear shoes that have literally rubber, like what is the thing, material? I don't even know if it's whatever, rubber, not rubber, but like, it had, like, a lot of our shoes have these materials in them that literally electrically deflect the earth. Yes. And that's definitely not a mistake. That makes sense.
Interesting.
But I feel as though you really should be feeling the ground, smelling what's around. What am I smelling right now? What do I taste? Even if I don't taste anything, what am I tasting? Or if you're going to eat something, taste it a little more, use that sense more. Let your mind go to different places with it. Because your mind, you'll be surprised. Your mind goes to different places with different scents. I smelled a candle the other day. I found it in the bottom of my, literally in the bottom of my storage bin.
Right.
I'm not kidding you. I haven't thought about my ex in a long time. No, and I'll tell you right now, this person is not a person that I ever want in my life again. But I actually just have to say my prayers for him. But I will sit there, and I smelled the candle. I went back to the exact moment he was sitting next to me. We were watching a movie. He put on the candle. I went right back. It was bizarre. I literally went back to that moment. It wasn't even a video. I didn't have to see a video of him to remind me of him. That scent alone took me back to and I wasn't even thinking about him. It is crazy. It is crazy. It's actually kind of like when you smell the evergreen candle and the Yankee Candle store, you think of Christmas. It's similar. Right. That's a similar. That's an example that I'm gonna give.
Yes.
Is that sense, music?
They stimulate music.
And I bet everybody can agree with me on that. when you are in the car listening to music.
Yeah.
But the whole point of this is using the five senses. That goes
Mm.
to be, that connects to mindfulness. And
Right.
you know, when you meditate, when you're still, identify what's around you. Couple
Mhm.
things, jot them down.
Yeah.
Colors. I always say people that have anxiety and have, I have very bad. I actually deal with anxiety myself. And when they say when a panic attack is coming or an anxiety attack is coming, stop everything. Like, stop what you're doing. Get to the ground. The ground is going to heal. Get yourself to the ground ASAP. Off a chair, sit on the ground. That's why they have people go on the ground when they're panicking. Like, sit down, like on the ground, lay down, and just look. Two colors,
Mm.
things that you see, what you're smelling, what you taste.
Mm.
And by doing that, you are distracting your brain, and you're actually redirecting all of the attention to the panic attack to what's around you. And you're
Yeah.
instantly connecting again to what's around you. That is not easy
Interesting.
to do, but it is a very useful tool for my anxiety peeps and my people that have had panic attacks and struggle with
Wow.
that. So just that's great. And it's good for it's not just good for that. It's good for just mindfulness in general, but
Yeah.
it also is great for that.
Interesting. I like that. And I've seen how mindfulness activities that you've identified was you spoke about how they've changed so many lives, and it's so hard to focus, but we can do it, right? The goal is for us to start. We can start somewhere. So we are in a season. I have this analogy. We are in a season of a badass era.
We are to
We are
say
like
the least.
baddies.
To say the least, we
Yeah.
are.
Yes. And I was looking, and because when the badass era, like, we show it more online than in person. Most
Definitely.
of the time, in person, we break those badass era rules or standards that are set. And I was like doing a little bit of research around badass. What does it mean? I came up with the term called skin in the game. Skin for
Skin.
skin in the game.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, that sounds so sexual. But I became to understand that it means, for example, if a CEO, right, of a company buys shares for in that particular, which means their interest in that particular company is high because they are investing their resources in that. And when I interlink skin in the game with badass, I am looking at being a badass is about leveling up mentally. It's about showing up to yourself. It's about excelling. It's about setting standards and boundaries. It's about being Betty about it and make it and get it done. It's about stepping up and be seen and get it done. It's about get it, like you need to get it done. You need to create impact. So I wanted to find out from you because we always spoke, hey Betty, you are in the badass era. How do you show up? How do you show up in your badass?
I feel like showing up in your badass era, whether you're going to work or to wherever you're going into the world, it could just be going out in general.
Mm,
I think first of all, not shying yourself, not
mhm.
hiding parts of yourself. So it's like
Right.
if you look at like the other day, I was looking at a piece of jewelry and I felt like I'm like, I don't really want to wear this. I don't want people to think immediately that's bad. So when our
Yes.
mind goes to, I don't want people to think, I hate to say this and break this to people, but like you have to try to not think like that anymore. you should want to do it because you want to do it. That I always say the first thought in your mind is the one.
Mhm.
Why did you think about it? Why did it even come into your mind in the first place?
Mm.
That's your subconscious telling you.
Right.
That's up here speaking to you
Yeah.
to do it. That's why you should just go and do it. Well, you're gonna wear the damn thing, do the damn thing. Um, Action, persevere, have confidence,
Yes. Oh my
believe in
God.
yourself.
Yes.
Believe in yourself. No,
And
just
just,
know your worth.
yes.
Don't wait for people's validation.
Mm.
Don't
Mm.
stoop down to people's energies. And
Right.
don't make it like don't make adjustments. No, don't. Like I
Mm.
always say to people are like, well, I had to meet him in the middle. I go, no, don't do that. If you're confident and you know what you believe in, and you want to do something, or you want to, don't settle for anybody. Never.
Right. You need
Don't.
to add text.
I'm
That's
sorry,
on
but
period. Like,
I'm
I
I was gonna
mean,
say, God gave us a life to go out and live to our fullest potential.
speak to
We're
me.
not supposed to be sitting here whining over this, crying about this, doing this.
Yeah.
Like no, life's too short. We aren't promised tomorrow, honey. You gotta get down and you gotta do the damn thing. You gotta,
I think,
amen,
amen. That's on period.
amen,
I
amen. You're so
do love
funny.
that. I do love that. And, we spoke around how anxiety people with anxiety, or people who don't believe in anxiety, but who have mind issues. So many people have lost confidence, in themselves. They've lost confidence in their abilities. They've lost confidence in their future. And babes, if you're listening to this, then you are doomed, completely doomed, because the world is not waiting. The world is moving as we journey with the world. What we need to do is to produce positive energy in everything that we do, positive vibration, and being ready about it, and being unapologetic. I remember this year, it was December of last year, 2023. I was talking to this lady, and she said to me, "This year, never apologize." I'm like, "Oh my God, people, they'll say you are not humble." It's like, no, because so many people have subjected themselves to an apology, even in spaces where they shouldn't apologize. Because you don't feel worth enough, you apologize for yourself. Because your skin is too dark, you apologize being black, for example. Because you in a spaces where you feel like you're not deserving, you first apologize before celebrating. You say, "This year, baby girl, I want you to own up yourself." And the portion of owning up yourself is about being confident. You can't own yourself without being confident, without adding value to yourself, without being in tune with how you feel, because how you feel will determine the state of your mind where you are at. You can start from somewhere, right? If you're in a space of fear, you can work from fear going forward. How do you gain strength? How do you put certain tools so that you find your confidence? If you are in confidence overflow, you can work from there to say, how do I pray for a blessing of capacity so that I can
Yes,
carry
exactly. Yeah.
what you're praying for? And just to give an example, guys, I'm a very practical girl. So when I've been in, for example, in my previous job, I was working as the programs manager for this NGO. People, when first I moved in that position, people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't have capacity." People, they talk, and what happens with the conversation? They come back to you, and I was in the middle of what people saying, and the voice that people, they've said that, "Oh my gosh, she doesn't have capacity, she's young," or da 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 da. And I am here at that stage, it was me, the voice, the words that people have said, and the people. So I was like in the middle. I was like, oh my God, I am not here to fail. I work not in proving people, but in being better version of myself. That's why I excelled in life. So people, they set certain standard for you, but those standards are not your definition, or those standards are not your identity. For, whether you're coming from a place of incapacitated, then you need to strengthen yourself and finding loops to say, oh, I need to strengthen here and work on improving that, or finding, like I always pray for a blessing, right? Maybe I pray for a job. Sometimes you get the job, but you don't have capacity. So what we miss in our prayer is to pray for capacity to carry the blessing that is attached to your prayer, for example. I think that's how I feel about
Wow, that's an
being a
amazing
badass.
perspective.
Yes.
I love that perspective of initiating in that type of way. And I wanted to say too was, I feel like the words we use out loud mean a lot.
Mhm.
So instead of,
Yeah.
I would always get nervous at jobs about asking for certain things, like whether it was a day off or a confirmation about something I didn't know. I'd be like, oh, I feel like I'm burning asking.
Yes.
Now, and I've changed now. I've been like, you know what? I'm not going to be nervous about anything that I say anymore, because I'm sorry if someone yells at me or reacts a certain way, that is their
Yeah.
issue. That is not my problem. That's not our
True.
problem. How other people react, unfortunately, we can't control how others react. We can control
Period.
how what we say and what we do, but we
Come
can't
true,
control.
come true.
We cannot control others. So now
Yes.
I'm gonna I'm gonna say, hey, I was wondering, I didn't want to bother you. We're not saying that anymore. We're saying when, how, why, and then we're gonna say more initiative words. We're gonna say
Yes.
direct to the point. We're gonna ask the question. We're gonna go right to the source. We're not just gonna beat around the bush, because I used to get nervous and anxious about like getting to the point sometimes. So I'd be like, yeah, like I'm wondering and blah 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 blah. Now I've really taken on myself, and I'm like, you know what? I don't care.
Yes.
We can't care. That's gonna be in our badass era. We need to own our words unapologetically. It's the truth.
That's
And
on period.
life's too short, like I said. We have to. Every day we should be doing 3 things to better get closer to our goals. I always say 3 things, because those things can be very complicated. Whether it's just going for that walk, doing a workout to get your body and your mind connected, writing that essay for something, writing that cover letter for a job, today doing this beautiful, amazing podcast together.
Yeah.
That's part of it, babe. There's so much ways that we can be a badass in our life, and yeah, that's my opinion on it. But I think that words matter. I think the words we say, we need to be more direct with people and upfront, and stop beating around the bush. And it's hard. It's not easy.
It's not easy, because being upfront, it comes as rude, and
I hate being rude too.
like where I'm coming from. Like, bye girl.
Bye.
Where I'm coming from, people, we've been brainwashed about being humbleness, around humbleness narrative, of which is beautiful. You can be respectful and still be meaningful, right? And I've seen in a process of humble, I've been like, in my life, I've been taken so much advantage because I'm humble. At the same time, I didn't know how to ask for the things that are contributing, that are adding value to me. And up until I said, oh my God, I cannot be this anymore. I need to be humble and still be meaningful.
You be both. Yeah.
Yes, like
It's balancing it out and knowing.
right.
And don't think
Because
that you speaking up is not being humble, because you speaking up is
I mean,
protecting yourself, like,
yes, it's me setting a solid standard of ways on how things they should be done. It's like, for example, in a relationship, oh my God, I once did a podcast around dating down, around how when you level up, you have this certain standards. Standard a boundary where you set, right? It's like a fence where
yeah.
your yard ends. It's like a fence. And if you are a stop nonsense, we say stop nonsense back home, like you don't take bullshit, you are a stop nonsense. Kumunyana wabushaja, like things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You entertain certain things. But when you've been told that you are not you're not good enough, you take bullshit because you're like, oh my God, I'm so desperate. Whatever comes, it goes. You meet someone that person doesn't respect you because you don't have standard. Automatically, they'll treat you like bullshit because you're garbage, right? I don't mean to sound salty, but sometimes we need to have conversation.
Oh, it's so true.
And
though.
when you've been treated like garbage for too long, you lose sense of purpose. You're like, oh my God, I don't deserve. But when you like, hey man, when you look at yourself in the mirror, the day you realize, you're like, oh my God, I fucked myself because I was captivated in a prison of not good enough. And for me, in the season of 2024, I set a clear goal. I said I am realigning my visions, my goals, my standards, my wellness, because I've let so many things loose in a process of setting boundaries. I've created boundaries, but there were loopholes in between those boundaries that I still continuously entertained up until I was like, I don't even realize myself anymore. And that's why I took a while to come back and filming podcasts, because I was like, I don't even find the purpose. I've created so much, I've spoke around so much setting boundaries, but I keep on repeating, going back to square one. I'm like, I'm okay, I'm tired. Keep it deep. Ever started keep it deep. But I'm like, let me come back to realize that being in a bed is you can still be humble, but still be meaningful and setting standard that no one will come and disrupt. Because I was placed in the disruption mode. I'm like, hey, he cut it. I'm like, done.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy,
crazy.
Brennan. It's crazy.
Crazy.
Yes. I have exciting game that I want us to play.
Let's do
The
it.
game is a little bit interesting.
Okay. I'm
And a little bit wild. We are wild people. And yeah, before we played, I wanted to share up. You've touched base so much around vibration and frequency, which is something that I never looked at. I started learning more about frequency recently, which is something that I've enjoyed you sharing more, and I appreciate it. You spoke around the badass era, taking ownership and accountability, owning up to the words, and setting up respect for yourself, identifying 3 things that are meaningful to yourself and the career, investing time in making sure that you meet those 3 things. And earlier you spoke around creating podcasts. The journey of podcasts is very liberating because you're able to share your mind.
I bet.
And you are able to,
yes,
you're able to find your voice in the process. Like I said, that I'm a church girl. The Bible says there is power in the voice, right?
Absolutely.
The voice can build or can destroy. So you have that power, use that voice, use your voice to share the message, use your voice to share the knowledge, because all of us, we are created with a unique expertise, with unique talents, with unique specialties that we are able to package and share with our people. And there are so many consumers who can listen to your podcast, and their stories can be changed through podcasts. And so I am happy. Yes, I am happy that this journey is starting and we have laid the foundation. And I wish you continue filming podcasts for yourself. And I'm looking forward to be the guest in your podcast as well.
Oh my God.
Yes.
One day, you guys. One day that's going to happen, because I have so much to dive into with everybody.
I can't wait.
We didn't even get to the surface of it, but we actually did get to a lot of little kind of points of it. And
yeah.
With these, I feel like with the topics we discussed, they were just so open to that type of stuff. So it's I'm excited.
Before we leave, I have a question. You spoke around positivity and spirituality.
Yeah.
How does faith and therapy balance within the healed mind and soul?
I think that having faith is that I think that the brain, all of our brains, there's some parts of our brain that even psychology can't explain. And that is the Ganji, the faith, the part of your brain that you can have faith that there is a love that is driving you and your friends, your peers in this life, this world. There's this love, this divine spirit that is always guiding you. And in times that are depressed and down, recognizing that you're having a depression, anxiety, stuff like that, doing things mentally, like mindfulness and connecting back to, getting back to the room, the present moment. Okay, that's physically, but then also thinking about the spiritual aspect of it,
Yeah.
what I'm fighting, what vibrations this is trying to drag me down to, and how I can uplift myself, put on my bootstraps, ask God for guidance and get my ass up, beautiful, and keep striving, keep going, and know that there is a being watching you and guiding you. Even there's things that are bigger than us happening in the universe right now, and that could also be affecting your mood. So many things, so much spiritual things happening, because the spirit realm's here, our realm's here. We can't see the other, So I think that there's so much that we can't see, and we only think, like I said earlier, we only think that what we see is what's the cause of everything, but it's not. There's things that we can't see that are impacting you and me and everybody. And we're like I said, God, devil, frequencies, vibrations, it is all connected. All connected. That's why I'm saying, eat good food, work out, positive mindsets, positive affirmations. That is only raising your vibration and connecting with nature, grounding, exploring your senses, things like that, all everything. And that will go into longevity, badass, everything will be connected. This whole podcast, everything that we've talked about has been connected. So stay faithful, everybody, stay loving, love. Even when dark times come, you gotta love still, and you gotta keep going, because we are all here for a purpose, and we all are beautiful, and we're all so strong, and we don't even know how strong we don't even know how strong we are, but we're all so strong. This fight, we're all in it together, but we, again, message either of us, because we are open to talking to all of you guys for discussions and collaborations and networking and just talking in general. If you need someone to talk to, we are voices, we are spiritual, we can take that out. If somebody has a different perspective, we are open to all ideas, and we're loving beings, aren't we, my love?
Yes. And thank you so much. That was beautiful. I think, sometimes the the devil, or I should say the
You should
devil
say the
has
devil,
stolen
definitely.
the time. There is everything that we do. What Brennan shared is connected to time. So the devil steals the time, and that's why so many people are still captivated from the things that happened in the past, or they are captivated on what could be the future look like, and they they struggle in between. They lose joy, they lose the moment. So what we're here to share you is live in the present. In the
The
presence, there is
moment.
joy. In the moment, there is understanding. There's so much you can learn in the moment if you open your eyes, if you open your mind. So, what we're saying is step out of those emotions that are captivating you and be positive. What happened yesterday is history. Rewrite that
Yes.
narrative by
Yes.
identifying that you could be better. But you can be better if you're stepping up and taking ownership of your faith, your belief, and of course, seeking therapy. This portion of podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Check out BetterHelp for a better mind. A healed mind is a healed body. So now, Brandon, we are diving to our fun part of the podcast, which is
Awesome.
we are playing a game. I have 15 questions for you that you need
Shoot.
to answer in
Yes.
a minute. We'll try to make it a minute because my previous guest failed the test. Let's see,
Okay.
right?
This is gonna be
So,
hard for me because I'm a talker, you guys. You know me. I just went on so many rants and rambles. So this is gonna be hard.
yeah,
But you know what? I can do it. I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna try to grind through this. I'm gonna try. We're gonna try.
right.
Shoot my way. Shoot it my way.
Of course, I'll try as well. My pronunciation sometimes is like, hey, como geli wabo Africa. But I'll try
Africa.
and yes, I'll try and pronounce so clear so that you can hear me. A board game, or so the game is called This or That. All right. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Sure.
We are counting down. So board game or card games?
Board game.
Broccoli or squash?
Broccoli.
Fantasy or drama?
Fantasy.
Shopping in the store or online?
In the store.
Sex in the kitchen or in the shower?
Shower.
Shower or bath?
Bath.
Hotel or hostel?
Hotel.
Balcony or terrace?
Terrace.
Mexican food or Lebanese food?
Have never had Lebanese, so I can't answer that.
Great. Hookups or long distance sexting?
Hookups.
Live in a house or in an apartment?
House.
Traveler at all time or mostly stay at home?
Traveler.
Dating one person or multiple?
One.
Pepsi or Coke?
What is it?
Pepsi or Coke? Coca-Cola, not Coke.
Coca-Cola.
I didn't mean Coke for Coke. For a drink, no. Sex in the morning or at night?
At night.
Perfect. You've made it in 1 minute.
I did it! Yay!
Thank you. That was
So
perfect.
That was so funny. You're the cutest thing ever. I love that.
Thank you. I mean, it's so interesting. Thank you so much, babes, for joining me. I really appreciate spending this time with you. I hope we continue making this and meeting up more often and discussing.
Absolutely.
And
I'm sure
will
we'll be collaborating again.
Yes. I mean, we're so beautiful. I just wanted guys to say thank you so much for loving the On the Floor Instagram page. We have a new Instagram page for On the Floor. The love that and support that you've been giving. Thank you for your support, and thank you so much for following us on Spotify, On the Floor with Zoe Ahmed, as well as on YouTube. You can follow us on our YouTube channel. My name is Zoe Ahmed, and
My name is Brennan.
you. Yes. Do you want to share your Instagram as well?
Yes, it's just my name, no space, just Brennan Fromm. I look
Got
forward
it.
to seeing you guys and connecting with you guys.
I can't wait. Thank you so much, everybody, and good night.
Good night. Blessings to everybody.